What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I am back with my own new review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yes, my apologies. I have not reviewed the last few episodes because the episodes weren't really giving that much. It's been the same thing. Drew denying the kiss from Latoya. She believes Candy lied, Candy fantasized, which is not the case. Courtney still trying to cause issues with Kenya. I'm annoyed. Sheree in this mental health retreat from hell. Good night. And back to this episode. It starts off with Drew and her sister Allison. They are discussing having a mental health retreat, and Drew is really trying to get her mental awareness in order because her sister Allison had a mental breakdown when she had her divorce. So she wants to be sure she's in the best space while she's going through her marital woes right now. Then, recognizing that mental health is not talked about in the Black community, but we need to have real and honest conversations about our mental health. We do. Then we got Sonya. Sonya is creating a surprise for Ross to find out that she's pregnant. She had a notebook with a pregnancy test in the middle of it. He's happy, he's excited because Ross has been expressing that he wants another child. And Sonya was not completely on board with that based off of her experience when she had their son. But she's pregnant. I think word on the curb is that she miscarried the pregnancy that she had in that scene, but ended up getting pregnant a couple of months after. So this is her rainbow baby, I believe. Happy for Sonya. Okay, then she heads downstairs to reveal the surprise to her family. She has shirts made that says we're pregnant, but I think Ross was the pregnant and Sonya was the weird, but they were backwards. It wasn't completely correct. But the sister caught on, the daddy caught on, the mama didn't catch it because she couldn't read it right because it wasn't corrected. When they turned around, then she got it. I'm like, oh my God, congratulations. Yay, another baby. So when the excitement of the baby is revealed, her sister Shazi said, we start looking at apartments. Completely like put a break in Sonya's plan because Sonya, remember, you were having a conversation with Ross about maybe it's time for your family to move. Now they are taking that step. They're looking at apartments, and you're thinking maybe I should not have told them it's time for them to move because she is worried and concerned about having another baby while having another child right here. Because throughout this entire time, Sonya has not been near her child. She's been traveling. She's been dropping her son off with her sister and her family. But now she is going to have to deal with possibly looking to find a nanny because your family is not going to be available for you to drop your kid off whenever you want to travel, and you're going to have to talk to Ross about him being in Atlanta more, so you won't be struggling dealing with two kids by yourself, because that was your fear. I said that earlier in the season. Sonya is in fear of dealing with two kids by herself, but you're going to have to grow up, Sonya. Your family is not going to be available for you when you want to drop your kids off and travel. You're going to have to communicate, inquire, be considerate of your other family's time because they got their own situation, they got their own lives. So that's that. Moving on. We're moving on to Drew and Ralph. They're having date night. Date night is super important, and Drew wants to be more confident in expressing on how she's feeling. If she needs a hug, if she needs time, if she needs space, she wants to talk about how she's feeling. But knowing how Ralph has gaslit her at every turn, she has questioned herself of how she's felt. Every time she wants to approach him about how she's feeling, he makes her feel as if what she's feeling isn't what she's feeling. It's all made up in her mind. But knowing how she's trying to be there for her sister Allison, who had mental breakdowns, she's learning to become more aware of how she is, how her mental headspace is. And throughout date night, it's all going good. But let's talk about the issues at hand. Ralph has quit marriage counseling. Drew has continued marriage counseling because she wants to learn more about herself. She wants to do better for herself. And as far as for him not continue on, she said, listen, I'm going to still focus on getting myself in order. I want to be better for myself. I cannot force you. I cannot change you. I am not going to mother you that you need to continue on with marriage counseling because she's fighting for this marriage. She's fighting for her identity. She's fighting for independence, and you're not meeting her halfway. And Ralph just talks in riddles, just talks in circles, using countermeasures and saying how couples counseling, it leads to a topic after topic after topic that can lead to a divorce. Only if you don't fix those issues, Ralph. If you don't recognize the issues you have, talk about the issues you have, resolve the issues you have, then you won't lead to a divorce. To me, Ralph has checked out of this marriage. He's been checked out. Every time he's in the scene with Drew, he doesn't look happy. He looks like, I cannot wait to get out of this camera with her. I don't want to be near her. In this moment, you're doing everything in order to get out of going to counseling because you don't want to go. Because apparently, Drew said he stopped going because he didn't like that he was held accountable. Yeah, you need to be held accountable with the way you treated Drew the last couple of seasons. When you went all out for that dinner, you made her feel like it was a problem that she asked you about the assistant who asked to give you a massage. That was wrong. That wasn't wrong. You made her feel like she was crazy. Well, that wasn't wrong. And when she also rephrased the counselor's thoughts about you being a maniac or having maniac tendencies, you made her feel stupid as if she didn't know what a maniac was. No, sir. Then you continue on with complaining about the dinner and that she didn't deserve lobster. She deserved a Lunchable. Oh my God, this asshole. Literal definition of what a narcissist is. A narcissist is the type of person who will never admit what they've done to the other person, but they're so quick to bring up what's been done to them. But what's been done to them is retaliation of how they treated other people. But Ralph only wanted to learn as much as he could about therapy to manipulate and mind control Drew further. But Drew has been way more self-aware, has pretty much named the things that Ralph does when he's not communicating, when he's feeling away. She can literally pick up quickly of what he does. And that pissed me off. Moving on from that point, Drew talks about the movie. She's about to go on set. She will be gone for 10 days. She's asking Ralph, can he help her out with the children? He said no in so many words. Says, we got a problem. Now that you're booked and busy, even though I've always been booked and busy, I don't know how that's going to work for me. My thing is this, Ralph. What do you do exactly? You said you're in IT. IT of what? And don't you have a guideline on how to become a step parent? Is that book even out yet? Has anybody bought that book? Are you doing press release for that book? Like, what do you do? When Drew said Todd has daddy daycare, he said, I'm not daddy daycare, but them your kids. You mean to tell me you don't know how to handle your kids for 10 days? But you want to ask, but I feel like if Drew was available to help you out, if you was to go out of town, she would say, no problem, let me rearrange some things because she's supporting you. Like, that whole scene pissed me off. This man literally turned everything on him as if he don't have nothing going on. But it's not about you, Ralph. It's about Drew. But this also further solidifies in my mind that he's in a competition with Drew. Drew even said it earlier this season, how Ralph does have a competitive streak. Whenever she does things, he has to do things. Just like it came down to the song. He had to produce the song. Now, when it came down to her doing the video, he had to be in the video. And him being in the video, he had the opportunity to audition in Vegas. Now that she's about to do a movie, you want to counteract and have something else to trump that? Like, Ralph want to be a housewife. That's exactly what it's giving me. He wants to be the housewife. He wants the peach. And to say that she's now being booked and busy, don't act as if Drew isn't a name. Drew Sidora is a name. She's a very talented actress. Obviously, she had enough recognition of her being an actress. She was considered to be on Housewives of Atlanta. That wasn't because of you. Like, all of that was a crock of bullshit to me. That really pissed me off. That Ralph wants to literally look down upon his wife. He really is intimidated by his wife. He don't like Drew at all. But I'll move on because I'm done. We now see Kenya at her home. She's preparing little snacks, little cheese and crackers, little meat, because she's about to have some girls over. Who are the girls? She's going to have Candy and Shamia come over. Kenya and Shamia have come a long way. The last thing I remember is when Kenya had her Kenya Moore hair care event, and Shamia and Portia were making fun of her and wonders if the product were actually in the bottle, and Shamia drunken and said, it's water. I will never forget that. But they've come a long way. I'm very happy that there are very, very, very good friends. And just wondering what's been going on, catching up on things. Kenya is talking about wanting to have another baby. Candy had this look on her face and be like, okay, that's amazing, but who's the pappy? And the same answer is Mark. She's like, what? The same look, the same expression we all got, Candy. Why would you want to go that route to have another child with him? Why? And the purpose of the whole process, how is that going to work? Well, she does have embryos from when they were doing IVF. And when they met up, had a meeting about who does the embryos go to. They break up, they went to her. So she has every right to use the embryos every which way she chooses, but I still feel like she wants to give her daughter a sibling with the same daddy. That's what she wants. I'm not mad at that, but at the same time, Mark has not shown any ounce of recognition or any ounce of, I can't find the word, but it's pretty much, is he deserving of a second chance? Not really. He's not even there for Brooklyn. And you're going to have another child and he's going to be the pappy? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, no, ma'am. And she is considering using a surrogate. Shamia has a surrogate. It's the same surrogate that Candy used when she had Blaze. And Kenya is wondering, am I going to be jealous of the fact that she's going to be carrying my child? They were like, no. At the end of the day, that's your baby. When she's delivering in the hospital, once she's out of the surrogate, they give the baby to you. They do skin to skin. That is your child. That is your baby. Point blank in the period. And then it's a stigma about when people do use surrogacy. It's all about, oh, you don't want to lose your figure. You don't want to stretch out your cootie cat. It's more than just image. It's more than just that. There are factors involved where you might not be able to carry a child. And that's where Kenya's problem is. She's not even sure she can carry another child to term. So she has to go through other realms of options, which is surrogacy. So moving on from that, whether she tells Mark or not, she thinks she should just to be courteous, but I really wish she didn't have to, because at the end of the day, he's not going to have a say-so into how you're going to move forward, because them your embryos. Them yours. But she's like, oh, Shamia, I want you to be around more. It's been a lot going on, girl. Really? Yes. And Candy said Kenya spilled the tea about what happened at... Right, the tea was about Martell not having enough to pay for Sheree's birthday dinner, so he ended up asking all the ladies for their cash apps to help pay for the meal. And the meal was $1,500. Kenny wants to know, who told you that? She said Marlo and Sonya. And it flashes back to Sonya meeting up with Kenya, and she told her about the bill being $1,500. And he's asking for our cash apps. Kenya was like, I spent $1,500 today. Like, that's no problem for me. But it's a problem for Martell. And it's kind of like, why are we acting surprised? We are not surprised. This is Martell Hope we're talking about. This man don't even have enough coins to have his own suit line. Like, what are you talking about? This man didn't even think about putting out his own booth for the Black Expo. This man wanted his ex-wife's bank records. Because he... We literally just came from the first part of Love and Marriage Huntsville, when the home that he was living in is about to be sold on. Like, this man rents and leases. He doesn't own shit. Oh my gosh, Sheree. Yeah, Sheree, girl, you got a good one, honey. Like, you are in no position to talk about nobody else's man that you haven't met. Is he real? Is he rich? Girl, these men got way more money than Martell. And you know Martell got a whole bunch of kids. I'm sorry. It's just funny. It is so funny to me. And it's kind of like, that's what you get, Sheree. That's exactly what you get. I'm going to move on. Oh my God, speaking of Sheree, she takes Gotti to the groomers, right? And apparently he has a daily groomer, but his groomer was out, and she noticing that Gotti's been all rolling around in the dirt and trash and things. What got me is, you take your dog to the groomers and you the one who has to wash the dog. What's the point of a dog groomer? What's the point of a doggy daycare? What's the point of Pampers and puppies if you gotta wash the dog yourself? I could never understand that. Whenever I see doggy daycares and you be the one washing the dog, it's kind of like, the one am I paying my groomer for if you not washing my dog? I could have kept my dog inside my own house, washed him out to the backyard, got a bucket, and like did that all in the sake of my own home. Like, I never understood that. And Sheree, you literally look as if you don't wash your own dog, because the way he was wagging and moving, you was like, oh my God. I'm like, you don't know how to wash your own dog, Sheree. You probably never washed that dog a day in your life since you had that damn dog. I was just like, get it out of my face with this shit, Sheree. It was funny though. Now, she's on the phone. Coincidentally, Martell calls. Apparently, he's on his way there. I believe in the next episode, he's about to be in Atlanta, and how he's going to catch his flight. And Sheree is just gushing about how she's happy in her relationship with Martell. I think she said it's been about 6 months at that point. And she compares her dog to what kind of man Martell is. Like she said, I've had a lot of dogs in my life. But the best partner I could ever ask for is my dog Gotti. He's there for me. He supports me. And what I have in Gotti is what I have in Martell. I was like, what? Your dog Gotti is what you have in Martell? What does Martell give you? Support? He gives you support. This man can't even spend $1,500 on your birthday dinner. What can he give you? This man don't even claim you as his girlfriend. You're still his friend girl. And apparently you guys are just having fun. You guys are not even in a relationship. I don't know what you call it, man, but okay. And then what killed me is when she is getting doggy treats for Gotti. She gave her email for like getting discounts and stuff. She ended her email with AOL.com. I said, how long has it been since somebody used an AOL? How old are you, Sheree? Who still uses AOL? No, I don't like what. Ooh, child, you showing your age, man. Who still uses that? That's crazy. I was really dumbfounded for a moment, like, wow. Okay, moving on. Obviously, get with the times, Sheree, because apparently you can't get with the times. Oh, also, I believe the producer asked Sheree, "What did Martell get you for your birthday?" You know when she lies, she stutters. Oh, Martell, he got me a Alexander McQueen handbag. That's what he got me. But you know he don't like buying designer labels like those big designer labels. He don't even like buying stuff like that, girl, because he can't afford it. An Alexander McQueen bag, I want you to bring that back at the reunion. I want to see a receipt. I want to see a tag that he actually bought you an Alexander McQueen handbag. What kind of handbag was it? With a clutch, with a handle? What was it? How much was the bag? I want you to tell me and show me for real. Because when you lie, you stutter. This man can't even spend $1,500, let alone buy you an Alexander McQueen bag. You probably can't even spell Alexander McQueen. Like, get out of my face with this. Good night. I'm gonna move on. Like, Sheree, please. We get the first look of the table read for the past. Drew and Candy all meet up, and it's awkward interaction between them because, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's been multiple episodes of Drew denying the kiss, and Candy is moving on from that. The only reason why it got so big is because Drew called Candy a liar, and Candy is not a liar. And now that she realized she's never going to get Drew to admit it, she's like, I'm going to move on. Drew's talking about, I've never got an apology from Candy, but if I'm not going to get one, I just want to move on. Drew, you're never going to get the apology because she did not lie. LaToya said it on Speak On It and at the reunion. She said it, okay? You can keep denying, you can keep deflecting all you want to, but it happened, okay? Candy is not about to just let this ruin what she got going on. I figured you wouldn't have allowed this opportunity to pass up either. When it came down to you wondering if you're ever going to do the movie or not because of where you are with Candy. But a girl, a check is a check, okay? And you knew not to pass an opportunity when Candy is involved, okay? So when they do the table read, I enjoy the table read. I want to know where it's going to be available on Tubi. It's going to be on Tubi. If not, let me know because Tubi got some good movies. Don't get me wrong. Shamia's in the movie. Manyetta's in the movie. I said, you got some names up in here. Okay. When they read off the few lines and he's letting the actors know we're going to go on set. Do not come late. Otherwise, it's going to cost me money. And this has been a project for him that he has been insecure about because he wanted to finish it. He wanted to do it right. And in the confessional, him and Candy are talking about this project has to come true because it's what you want. He's all about, don't tell me what I want. I do want this project to come true. Yeah, because she knows you. Because Candy is good either way. But she wants to give that same passion, that same support that you put for her, she wants to do for you. And he accepts it and appreciates. Because I want this to be a success. I'm excited just from hearing a few lines. I want to know how the movie turns out. Then Todd also said at the end of the reading, this is not about our lives. The characters in the movie are not based on me and Candy. That's not us. Don't assume because it's not about us. I was like, okay, Todd, okay. I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of life experiences in this movie. But either way, I'm excited about it. I enjoyed the table read. And I cannot wait to see in action. I'm excited for next week's episode, honestly. But we're going to move forward. So we're moving on. Now it is the day of Drew Sisters Allenton Meditation Retreat. Everybody was to wear white. White is the color of pure, new beginnings, cleanliness. And they're greeted with brain boosting drinks because no alcohol will be at this retreat, you know. And I'm excited to learn about what has taken place in Allison's life. And she's just giving a rundown of what she dealt with when she had her mental breakdowns. Oh, excuse me. And all the ladies have arrived. I see Cynthia has made another appearance. Hey, Cynthia. She wanted to give a synopsis of what has taken place when she's had her mental mishaps with what she calls it. I'm very happy that this meditation retreat was shown. It was a nice story for us to learn about Drew's sister. And as far as having an open, honest dialogue of how to deal with mental illness and deal with mental health, because nobody can talk about it. It's a stigma that we don't talk about what's going on with this. We just pray and it goes away. No, sometimes there are a lot of factors in what goes on in our minds. Having this conversation shown on camera was a very teachable moment. Now, everybody has arrived, like I said. Ross and Ralph arrived at the same time. Drew spots Ralph. But as she's walking, I think Ross was first to walk up to her. And in an instant, she decided to hug Ross first. And Ralph noticed that she hugged him first. And his pettiness alert just came on. And as soon as she hugged Ross and was about to hug Ralph, he literally just acted as if she was never there, literally walked right past her to hug everybody else except for Drew. And she stood there from the same spot she was about to hug him to see him walk away. Even Kenya was like, is Ralph having a breakdown? Because he literally just walked past Drew as if he didn't see her. And Sheree, knowing she's so happy to see this and so happy to get it on camera and watching it and being in this moment to see it, Ralph literally held everybody else except for Drew. And she's like, husband, hi. He said, I didn't even see you. Yes, you did. Literally 2 minutes ago. You noticed that she hugged Ross first and you decided to ignore her and hug everybody else instead of her. I said, Lord. And I felt like it was such an accident. If I see my husband walking in the room, I will hug my husband first. I would. But I don't know if Drew was just being gracious to hug Ross because she's cool with Ross. She likes Ross. So that was very innocent that she hugged him at all. But Ralph got really petty and very passive aggressive to not hug her but hug everybody else. And Drew picked it up because apparently after a date night, they have not been on the same page. They have not been around each other. And when Ralph doesn't want to talk about how he's feeling, he gets cold. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the evidence of him being cold to her. And I feel like that wasn't even necessary. Because she decided to hug Ross instead of you, you decided to embarrass your wife in front of everybody by not hugging her, letting her stand there looking stupid, watching her husband hug everybody else instead of her. I said, no, ma'am. I ain't got time for games. That is tit for tat. That is too many games being played. Ralph, grow up. Okay, grow up. You could have stood there and waited after she hugged Ross to hug your wife and gave her a kiss. She literally was embarrassed and had to literally beg to give you a kiss and give you a hug because you embarrassed her. Like you wanted to punish her for that. And that's not cool. I did not like that at all. At all, at all. Whew, moving on from that. Okay, so everybody has arrived and Allison is giving them a rundown of in 2020 she had a mental breakdown. She felt so much anxiety. She called 911 so many times. They entered her into a psychiatric ward for 19 days. I was like, wow. But Drew said it in the beginning of the season. 2020 is where her sister felt so alone. She was isolated. And I was like, girl, I can't. That scared me. While in the facility, she's talking about the things she did to help her get better care and better awareness of her mental health, talking about the things that helped her. She has meditation. They're about to work out with Drop It with Drew. They're about to eat really good food, have brain boosting food. So the first thing they did was Drop It with Drew outside. Cool, cool, cool. Marla talking about she tried Drop It with Drew one time and fell off. Drew was also in the confessional talking about, yes, we're still dropping it with Drew. We're still having our 21 daily challenges. Marlo decided to be petty and shady by trying to log on to the Drop It With Drew website, and the 404 code popped up. Usually that means the website you're looking for cannot be found. I'm just like, girl, Drew, no. Just drop it. I'm sorry. Drop it with Drew. Okay. You took us to a whole song and dance last season about this is your business. Turns out it's not your business. It's you collaborating with somebody. Like, girl, hang it up. But Marla, you're in no position to talk about anybody else's website not being found, because what is going on with Lay Archive? Is anybody renting out any clothes? We have not seen you promote or showcase anything about Lay Archive since the season started. So you are in no position to talk about anybody else's business, okay? Moving on from that, then they do the meditation. Everybody's taking out their socks and everything. Marlo's complaining about the smell of other people's feet and sweat because you were outside working out. And I think Marlo hacked or coughed when she walked up the stairs. Girl, please get that checked out. And just breathing, meditating, which I feel like is a really good stress reliever, to meditate, to just silence yourself and just listen to the sounds of nature. I feel like that is a beautiful thing to calm your nerves and calm your energy. I like that. Um, I think towards the end, Candy got emotional because she said, I needed this retreat. I needed a woosah moment because Candy has been going through a lot. Her group falling apart. Her friends don't think she supports them. Todd telling her she's not around enough. Her kids complaining about not seeing her. So she's definitely needed to just, whew. And Candy, we've been saying that for seasons now. You really do need to take time. You really do need to take time out for yourself. You deserve it. You'll still make money even if you take a couple of days off to talk to a therapist, a life coach, something for you to get your stress level down. Because you said your blood pressure has been elevated because you do a lot. You do a lot. You provide a lot. And you need to slow down. You do. I'm going to move on. Also, I forgot to mention, Sheree wants to take credit for the meditation part because that's exactly how she wanted everything to feel in Portugal. But I'm like, Sheree, please. Your meditation retreat from hell, it didn't give healing at all. So you can miss me. You are not the inspiration that Drew decided to do this. It's for her sister, not for you. Moving on. While the ladies are in the meditation room, the men are outside, and Ralph, Heath, and Ross are all talking. And I believe one of Drew's friend arrived. And the interaction between Ralph and this friend, it really didn't sit with me. Like, he engaged to hug her. He engaged, hey baby girl, how you doing? How you doing? You look good. No, you look good. I'm just like, Ralph, were you flirting with Drew's friend? And did the friend pick up on that? I don't know. It just felt like this man had way more energy, way more glow and happiness to speak to another woman than his own wife. It didn't sit well with me. Mm. So Ralph is talking to the fellas outside of what's been going on, because word on the street is you guys got a lot of assistants suing y'all. Like, what's up with all these assistants? Y'all don't do well with assistants. I think he said you gotta have all these people come inside your house, bro. He said I don't like nobody in my house, man. So the other ladies are about to sit and eat, and I believe they were telling Drew about the meditation retreat, how this is nice, this is beautiful, this is exactly the type of feeling I wanted to have in Portugal. And Drew was like, this is where I was feeling the vulnerability, but I wasn't ready to accept it. That's why I walked out crying. Right after Sheree wanted to embarrass Drew about the assistant not getting paid, right? The chef. And that's when Drew made the dramatic exit to leave and cry. Sheree talked about she didn't know that she was going through a lot in that moment. And I recently found out that you went to court. How did that go? The whole song and dance of Drew going to court dealing with the chef slash nanny suing her for $1,000 came up. Then it flashes back to Drew coming out the courthouse where Ralph and her sister and other people, her talking to a cameraman with a ring light and expressing her wants about the court case. I'm like, this court case don't need to be all this fake paparazzi, okay? And you'll get the official verdict in 30 days. And Cynthia, who's coming in, I think Cynthia might need to come back. So with, literally seeing Cynthia just transition on wanting to know the lowdown of everything, it's like Cynthia never left. Okay, she fits right on in. And simultaneously, Ralph and Drew are talking about the court case. Okay, there's a girl who wanted the opportunity to cook for Drew, be her chef. The food wasn't good. There was hair in the food. That was an opportunity failed. So apparently the young girl wanted to know another opportunity that she could be and help of them. So they were like, okay, well, we got a nanny position. You think you can help us out with the nanny position? So they tried to try her out. She wasn't interacting with the kids. She didn't get neither job, the chef job nor the nanny job. She says an invoice of $1,000. Either that's to pay back the money she spent to cook for them, but why would they pay you for the job you didn't get? That doesn't make any sense. So just constantly harassing about when am I gonna get paid? When am I gonna get paid? After the invoice of $1,000. A year later, sheriff shows up on Drew's doorstep with papers saying they're being sued for $10,000. So it jumped from 1K to 10K over a girl who didn't get the job of being the chef for the nanny. Somebody lying, okay? Because how is it jumped from 1K to 10K? Okay, fine. I'm with Candy. Like, girl, it cannot be that bad. It cannot be that serious as if this girl went all out of her way to send you an invoice for $1,000 and thinking she has enough money to buy a lawyer and send you papers, sue you for 10 grand. Girl, something the milk ain't clean over here. Like, even production had to put the documents of her lawsuit and it written $1,000. So like Candy said, these stories be changing and rearranging. I can't keep up. Whatever. Drew, you are an actress, okay? Like, it's whatever. So moving on from Drew's lies, Kenya brings up finding out that Sheree had a birthday dinner. Kenya wasn't even invited, but she saw it on social media that Sheree had a birthday dinner. And it was a birthday dinner with people who she's known for 30 years. But Cyan got an invite, Marlo got an invite, Courtney got an invite, Cynthia got an invite. I can understand Cynthia, but how was it Courtney and Cyan got an invite? You don't know them. You haven't known them for that long. You've only known them for a short while. So how is it that they made the cut? But you just said you had a birthday dinner with friends you know for 30 years. I'm with Candy. Let's do our math here. Hold up. You said you had a birthday dinner and you invited all the friends you know for 30 years. But Courtney, Sonya get an invite? You've known them longer than you've known me? Okay, I see what time you on. And Kenny has peeped Sheree's coldness and standoffishness for a while. And it's just kind of like, I thought we were cool. I thought we moved forward. But maybe we've gone apart. I would say yes, though, Candy. We have grown apart. You have seen the errors in Sheree's ways. And Drew and Candy were on the same wavelength. So did our invitation get lost in the mail? Sheree came with an instant excuse for Drew that Ralph told her that their baby girl got sick so she couldn't come. How do you know that? And was she sick throughout the entire day and night? Drew couldn't come out and support you? I'm confused. And Sheree want to throw shade at Candy about how Candy doesn't show up for the group. So I know she's not about to show up for the last minute. I say, wait a minute, Sheree. Do not do that. Okay? Don't do that. Just because Candy is booked and busy, got a lot going on for her, instead of you worrying about she by she in, I don't think you have the ability to tell Candy she wouldn't have shown up for you if you never given her that opportunity. Like, it's so funny for Sheree to assume that Candy would not have come. Yes, Candy has not been around for the group, but she has shown up. Sheree, she was just there for you in Portugal. No, she was not there for the duration of the entire trip, but she did get on a plane while having the bubble guts to be there for you. Sheree, you can miss me. Candy was there when she needed to be there. She does support her people, but she's not about to lose out on a bag for you batches. I'm confused. Like, I don't like that at all. And Candy would have at least liked the opportunity to say yes or no, I can't make it. You could have at least still thought of me enough to send me a text message. Whether or not I had something going on or not, still give me that courtesy. Like, I will give you the courtesy to say yes or no if you're coming to my event or not. Like, I don't like that at all. That's not fair, Sheree. You can't put stimulation on how people do not show up for you, but yet you don't do the same for other people. Like, get out of my face with that shit. For real, get out of my face. Like, Sheree, you are in no position to assume anybody else's busy schedule when you don't have a busy schedule. And when she told you she was home that night, she would have come. You said you apologized. I didn't think you would. But it's kind of like, girl, fuck you, Sheree. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. Goodbye and good night. Cynthia said it was a very last minute dinner. It was at Nobu, so she just assumed Candy was busy because Candy is busy. And Cynthia still wanted to get the rundown of everything. She kind of heard that the group is divided, the group is split. You were absolutely correct, Cynthia. The group is definitely divided, the group is definitely split because Manietta witnessed a collusion amongst the other girls conspiring to go against Drew. They wanted to bring Courtney in throughout that. Which Manietta wasn't wrong. She did witness a collusion because she said Cynthia was fighting for her life to prove that she was down for Sheree, Marlon, and Sonya, which she was when they told her to look out for Drew. Courtney was acting completely different when they were in Portugal. She was completely being standoffish. She wasn't bubbly, and it was all because they all told her to watch out for Drew, and she believed it. Even though Drew and Courtney have just discovered that they're cousins, but I can't trust you completely, and I don't know why Courtney would trust them girls completely. Like, girl, Courtney is cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. She is a naive dog that is gonna be happily manipulated every which way and turn. Basically, Manietta wasn't lying, like I said before, and just continuing on with witnessing the intense collusion being made between Sonya, Marlo, Courtney, and Sheree. It even got to the point where Courtney called Drew a bitch. And everybody was like, what? Of course, the minions don't ever remember what they say, but they always remember what someone else says. And she said, I witnessed you calling your cousin a bitch. Thank you, production. It flashes back to when I think Drew questioned Courtney and they were all just discussing and talking. And Courtney was talking out loud, talking as if, Drew was right there. And she said, this bitch even questioned me. This bitch questioned me. She pointed and Sonya was right there hearing Courtney talk about Drew being called a bitch. So it's like, yes, you did call her a bitch. Courtney, please, you've been called out way too many things. And you always act as if, can you tell me what I said? And I can tell you what I really said. Just like you want to backpedal and not admit that you instantly called Kenya girl, all because she said, don't touch me. And you said it was Kenya's karma that she failed. You flipped as if that's not what you said when that's exactly what you said. So, Courtney, you're a liar. You can miss me with that. Manietta is not confused. Manietta is not fishing for an issue. She is not trying to have a moment. She is literally witnessing what's in front of her. And what she saw in front of her were three grown-ass women trying to convince another grown-ass woman to look at someone who she just met as her cousin funny, as if she don't have a mind of her own, and Courtney went with it. So Drew is confused. Yeah, Courtney said her and Drew have had hookups, but she'll never call her a bitch. She actually said, I will never call anyone at this table a bitch. You're a fucking liar, Courtney. So she's trying to convince Drew that she never called her a bitch, and Manietta is still defending it by saying, girl, yes, you did. Bitch, I didn't. Girl, you just did it just now. Like, girl, get out my face. So after the girls eat, they go outside, meet up with the fellas. I think they're about to take a group picture. It felt like it was a finale episode. That's usually how it ends. But no, we have another episode to get through. And when they all took the picture, Sonya was wearing an I'm pregnant shirt the entire time and wanted to have this be a huge reveal when they all took a group picture. And she sent it to everybody, and she's literally asking everybody as soon as they get the picture, did you guys see? Did you guys see? What did you guys miss? Or what did you guys point out? What did you guys see? What did you guys see? It took a minute for everybody to really look at it and see it. And then I think Candy screamed. Who screamed? I can't remember. And it is Sonya's pregnant. Congratulations. Drew was like, oh my God, Sonya, can we get to the entertainment? I think Kenya said, yeah, we get to entertainment. And Drew made a comment about Sonya always wanting a social media reaction. It's not much of wanting a social media reaction. It's just that Sonya wants everything to be a reaction. She wants everything to be a whoa moment. You know what I'm saying? Where you could have just been like, girl, I'm pregnant, y'all. But hey, it is what it is. Happy, happy, happy for you, Sonya. You're pregnant. Congratulations. Kenya is feeling the baby fever because she wants another baby. And she's very happy for Sonya. I'm happy for her too. I'm going to move on. So it ended off with Drew having a late night session with Dr. Ken. And she's been working on her part in therapy for the last year. And Drew and Ralph have not been on the same page since date night. He moved out of the bedroom. Throughout the 8 years of marriage, she's realized they've had tons of issues that were never addressed. Issues about transparency. Issues about faithfulness. Issues about respect. Flashes back to all those times. where he's made rashful decisions without talking to her about it. She's confronting him about how it's making her feel. He doesn't think it making her feel any type of way. Him leaving to go to Tampa. Why? Why did you go to Tampa? You having inappropriate conversation with your assistant where she wants to offer to give you a massage. Make that make sense. So it's just like, what else can she do? They have been in a up and down cycle of when things are good, things are bad. Things are bad, things are good. And it's all due to the point of not having their issues addressed. That's the point of the problems. That's the gap right there. That you guys constantly jump over the gap because you want to find something else to connect on to fight for the marriage, but you can't fight for the marriage if you're not addressing the problems. There's no communication between Drew and Ralph because Ralph doesn't want to hear how he comes off. He doesn't want to accept the way he treats Drew because he thinks that what Drew does is like weird, doesn't make any sense. Like, girl, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's just all over the place. I mean, she expressed that they have gone on dates, but it has not ended well. And she's really recognizing her independence and recognizing that you're not going to gaslight me anymore and I'm not going to catch it. Because she can literally pinpoint the exact moments he wants to gaslight her. And it's like a light bulb that hit her, like it clicked in her mind the entire time. This entire marriage, he's been gaslighting her. And she never really understood the triggers until now. And, you know, it's just like going up and down with how she's feeling. The emotional awareness is not there. Ralph does not care about Drew. He does not want to care. He is emotionally unavailable to care. And that's all she's ever wanted. She's wanting him to care. If I express how this makes me feel, I will want you to support me. I will want you to comfort me, listen to me. And that's not what he's doing. And for her recognizing of where she's at now, knowing that she's still in counseling, he's not in counseling, she's back and forth with, why am I fighting for a marriage? Why am I putting so much effort to figure out how to save this marriage if you're not going to pull your weight, if you're not going to help? But she can sometimes see him trying, but it's still not enough. It still doesn't give her the reassurance she needs in order for her to feel like, okay, we got hope. We got a chance. But I can't be the only one fighting for this chance if you're not fighting for it as well. Because that's exhausting to fight for a marriage by yourself. And you're constantly questioning of what you're doing wrong. You're questioning as if you're doing enough. When it's not you, it's the other person who doesn't want to pull their weight. Which is terribly sad. Because I think at that point, Drew is defeated. I mean, I don't know if she's cried out, but we're probably going to see the rest of the tears towards the end of the season. But she's just like, I don't know what's at stake for our relationship. It's questionable. I didn't get married to get divorced. But at the same time, she's looking at herself as like, I'm not going to stay in a marriage where I'm not happy. So Drew was definitely battling within herself as to what should she do. She's torn. She's becoming more aware of what's going on in her head, but she's going back and forth with, am I doing this to myself? Am I causing more pain to myself? Like, what is going on? Which is the mental tassel we have to become aware within ourselves. My mind goes through the same roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? And when you know enough is enough, and the first relationship you should give is to yourself. You can't be good for anybody else if you're not good for yourself. And that's what I think Drew needs. Drew needs to get back to her. She needs to go about what makes her happy. Y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm see you guys later. Bye.